So in the last class, we have discussed about Angular forms like template driven forms and reactive forms. Today, let us go with one more and very important topic, that is Angular routing. Already I have introduced about routing in yesterday's class. What is the main use of routing? Routing is used to navigate between the pages. Navigate between the pages, or you can even say components. Routing is used to develop single page applications. Routing is mainly for what purpose? To develop single page applications. Now, let us understand this with the example application. Create the following components. ng generate component home, ng generate component about, ng generate component dashboard. So we are creating three components over here. What they are? Home, about, and dashboard. We are not worried about the coding part inside the components. We are worried more about the routing concept here. Now, let me develop this. Let us open this in command prompt. Open our project in Visual Studio Code. Code dot. Let us create the components. ng generate component home, ng generate component about, ng generate component dashboard. We are totally creating three components here. Now, so once we create these components, see here, our next step is just to go to this app.html file. App.html file, let me keep in comments. Now, in this app.html file, let me create one division, style equal to text align center. We are creating one division, style equal to text align center. Here we'll go with a navigation, and we'll create one hyperlinks here. A router link equal to home. I'll explain what is this router link, and we'll say here home. Then next one, a router link equal to about. Next, a router link equal to dashboard. So we are creating totally three hyperlinks here. And to make our routing work, we have to use this element router outlet. So whenever we use this element router outlet, then only our routing is going to work. And already you can see router outlet already imported. By default only it comes whenever we go with app component now. By default this will be already present under imports. Right? Now let me build the project up here. Ngser. Open browser and go with the URL http://localhost 4200. See here you can see three hyperlinks here. You can see three hyperlinks. So one is home, about, and dashboard. So you can find three hyperlinks. Now I'm just repeating. So we are discussing about routing. So what is the main use of routing? It's mainly to navigate between the pages or components, and it's mainly used to develop single page applications. As an example, we are creating three components, that is home, about, and dashboard. So we are not worried about coding part under this. Then the next step what I've done is in app.html, I've created one division, style, text align center, and we are creating 3 hyperlinks here. We are creating what? 3 hyperlinks: home, about, and dashboard. Home, about, and dashboard. That's only you can see here: home, about, and dashboard. So when you click here, any functionality is coming? No, we are not getting any functionality. We have just created only what here? Router links here. Router links. And to make routing work, we have to use this element, router outlet. And this router outlet is present where? In this class router outlet. So that's the reason we have done the import here. So in this component, your router outlet is present. Now the major important one, when you click on home, what is the router link? I said home. Router link name is what? Home. Now when you click on home, since the router link is home, now we want to load home component. How to do that setting is, we have to go to this app routes.ts file. Go to this app routes.ts file, and here we have to provide the routing details here. See here, path. If the path is home, then we should redirect to the component what we want to load is home component. We have to say only home, because here you can see the component name home. So which component it should load? Home component. Then do the import part. Then next one. If the path is about, which component it should load? The component what it should load is about component. It should load which component? About. If the path is dashboard, the component what it should load is dashboard component. So this only we call routing. So based on the click operation. So this router link name is important. So when you click on home, what is the router link name? Home. So that we have to map here. So if the path is home, which component it should load? Home. So when you click on about, what is the router link name? About. So it is based on the route path name, it's going to load about. Similar way, dashboard. Now, once we have done this part, now check it here. Once we reload the page, now when you click on home, see we are getting home works. Here, understand carefully. This is our app component. Up to this area, which component here? App component. So when you are clicking on home, which component is getting loaded? Only home component. So when you click on about works. Dashboard works. So is the complete page reloading, or only part of the page is reloading here? Only part of the page is getting reloaded. Based on the component, it's reloading the component. It's loading the component for us. So this type of applications only we call single page applications. Clear all of you? What is single page application? Now what I should do, I should go to the respective component and do the code. For example, if I go with this home component, I'll go to this home.html. So this content is displaying for us, homeworks. So what I'll do is, we'll say h3 welcome to Raj Technologies. Then we'll say h4 courses offered. We'll create here OL, say UL, type equal to circle. Then we'll say LI, programming languages, LI databases, LI web technologies. Right? Now see here. When you come to this one, when you click on home, see we are getting our content. But this is not looking good. So to make it look good and feel, what we can go with CSS file, and you can provide the styles here, H3. See why it is coming in center aligned? See why it's coming in center aligned? Because In app.html, we have given the style as text align center. That's the reason the complete content is coming in center aligned. Now what I want to do, I want to make h3 as text align as left, and we'll say color as red. For h4, we'll say text align as left, and we'll say color as green. For UL, text align as left, then color as blue. So we are just providing some styles. Now check it here. See, it's coming here. So this is home, about, dashboard. Similar way, just to go to the respective component and do the changes based on your requirement. Clear this concept, all of you, the routing process. Right? You can just go with the codes. The major codes are app.html. And this is updated one. Then next one, you can go with this app routes. So the name has changed, app.routes.ts. Right? So these are the two important files here. So about this, you can manage your own code. Okay. So whatever you want to write, you can manage here. Clear? Any questions? Right? Now, let us move to the major topic of our course, that is Angular HTTP client module. Angular HTTP client module. This is very, very important to us. Now, so what is the use of this HTTP client module? Is HTTP client module of Angular is used to invoke the services which are running on the server, side. Like it may be with Java technology, it may be with the .NET technology, it may be with PHP technology. Then, like example, let us suppose if you are having a service, like we have created a service like http://localhost:8080. This is our location of Tomcat server. API/employees, all employees. So let us suppose you have created the service API/employees/all employees. So this is going to connect to your employee table, and it's going to return all the records present in employee table. That records I want to take it into Angular and use it. Then how to invoke the service? We have to create object of HTTP client first. Then by using this object HTTP client, we have to invoke the method get. To this get method, we have to pass our service. That's it. So this is the way to invoke the service which is running on server side. So whatever the REST API you have created to invoke that services, we go for HTTP client module. Clear this point? Any questions? Now, let's develop the complete example application. Let us go with the database side first. That is Java side backend. First, we are developing the backend. In this, first initially we go with the database side. Create a table employee in MySQL. Okay, at MySQL prompt, you can create table employee emp_id varchar of 10, name varchar of 10, then designation varchar of 10, then salary int of 4. So we are going to create this table. Let me open MySQL. So we are using Spring DB. Use this. Now create the table. Create table employee. So check it whether it's already having table. Show tables. Okay. So we are not having employee table, so no problem. So let us create table. Create table employee with employee ID, varchar of 10, the name, varchar of 10, the designation, varchar of 10, then salary, int of 5, something. Then, so table created. Now the table is ready. Once the table is ready, then our next step is let us insert some records into the table. Insert records into the employee table. Insert into employee values 111, the name, then designation, and salary. Like that, you can insert some more records into the table. Insert these records. Let us change the values. We were inserting 3 records totally. So copy this and come to your MySQL and paste these comments and run these comments. Okay, just run all these comments, select and click here. It's going to run the comments. Now go with the command, select star from employee. Select star from employee, select this and run this. So it's going to show all our records. So this completes our database side. Got it? Any questions? Moving to the next step, create a Spring Starter project. Create a Spring Starter project. Let me go with the name Spring Angular project in STS. Go with the name Spring Angular project. Type Maven, Java version 17. Then group com.rajtech. Artifact, it takes the name Spring Angular project. Package, some package. Then click next. Here we need to add the project dependencies. Add the following project dependencies. So one is Spring Web, then Spring Data JPA, Lombok, and MySQL driver. Right? So these dependencies we are adding. Click finish. Now, let us create this project. So I've taken a new workspace here, that is Spring Angular. In this workspace, let us create one Spring Starter project. File, new Spring Starter project. Let us go with the name Spring Angular project. Type Maven group com.rajtech, then package com.rajtech, some package. Then click next. In available, search for Spring Web, add this dependency Spring Web, then Spring Data JPA, then Lombok, and MySQL driver. So these 4 dependencies we are adding. Click on Finish button. Then, once we have done this project creation, our next step is create a package com.rajtech.entity entities in src main Java folder of Spring Angular project. Now create a entity class. Let me go with the name employee in this package. So let us create the package. Under src main, create a new package com.rajtech.entities. In this package, create one entity class employee. In this, go with the properties like private string employee ID, private string name, private string designation, private int salary. Then go with the Lombok annotations at the rate data. I'm just going with annotation at the rate data. Then next one, to mark it as entity class, at the rate entity. Then at the rate table, the name of the table. What is the name of the table we have taken? Employee. Name of the table is employee. Then next one, this you mark it as primary key, and to change the column name, at the rate column name equal to, let me check the column name, emp underscore id. These are our JPA annotations. So remaining things it's taking as it is, right? So for others, the names are same, name, designation, and salary. This is our entity class. Now, once we create entity class, now we have to go with the next one, repository interface. Create a repository interface. Let me go with the name employee repository. Let us create package. Create a package com.rajtech.repositories. In this package, create your interface employee repository in this package. Employee repository. Let us create one package first. In this package, create one interface employee repository. Now what I should do, make this employee repository extends JPA repository. And what is our entity class name? Employee, and the primary key data type is string. That's it. Your repository interface is ready now. Okay. Our next step is let us go with the controller class. Let us go with what? Controller class. For this, create a package com.rajtech.controllers. Create a REST controller class because we are going to access from Angular. So we have to create a REST controller class. Let me go with the name employee controller in this package. So this is the major piece of code. So create a controller class. Let us go with the name employee controller. In this employee controller, how to mark it as REST controller? At the rate REST controller. At the rate REST controller. Then, now, here in this one, I'm going to get the request from where? From Angular, I'm going to get the request. And Angular is running in which location? http://localhost:4200. So now we have to inform Spring that I'm going to get the request from this location. How to inform is by using one annotation @cross origin. This is the new one what we are learning today. @cross origin, and you can say origins equal to, this is the location from where we are going to get the request. This is the location from where we are going to get the request. Right? Now, in this, let us go with the property employee repository. And let us inject it automatically @autobuild. Now create a method public list employee get all employees. How to get all the employees? By using the return, just say return repo dot which method? Find all. That's it. So when you say repo dot find all, it's going to return, it's going to connect to employee table, and it's going to return all the records. Now we have to do the mapping to this method. So how to do the mapping? You can say @get mapping will say all employees. We'll say what here? All employees. This is the mapping. So what is the API now? What is the API to access this service? API to access employee service is http://localhost:8080/all employees. So this is the API what we are going to give to Angular, so that it enters into this method and it's going to return all the records from this REST API. Okay, so this is the REST API what you have created. So this we call it as what? REST API. Now the next step is database connection, where we have to do update application.properties file. Where you can find application.properties file under resources folder. Here, go with the details spring.datasource.driver class name provide the driver class name, spring dot data source dot URL, jdbasic colon mysql colon // localhost colon 3306 / springdb, our database name. Spring dot data source dot username root. Spring dot data source dot password is root. So these are our database connection properties. The next one, spring dot JPA dot hibernate dot DDL auto update, because already the table is created. Spring dot JPA dot show SQL as true. So these are our JPA properties. Clear up to here, all of you? Any questions? You can run the project as Spring Boot app. So right click and say run as Spring Boot app. Right? Now, so once the server is started, you can go here and check it here. HTTP colon / localhost colon 8080 / all employees. So it's returning say all the employees in the form of JSON format. Now once we use this API in REST in Angular, these all employees will be returned in the form of JSON format. And JSON is what? Language independent. Anywhere we can use, any language can use it. So once we send this data in the form of JSON format to Angular, so Angular will take care of displaying this data in tabular format. Okay, so whatever we have done up now, it's only backend work. Clear? Any questions up here, the backend side? Only the new thing what you have learnt is only this new annotation today at the rate cross origin. Only this is the new one what we have learnt today. Remaining all are same concept already we have discussed. Right? Let us go with the front end part. Front end. Angular side. So for this, let me do one thing. Create a new project. Create a new project. Spring Angular frontend. Ng new Spring Angular frontend. So we are creating a new project, ng new Spring Angular frontend. So we are working in this folder, Spring Angular folder. So in this Spring Angular folder, I'll be sharing this complete Spring Angular folder in GitHub. So where you can find Spring Angular project, this is our backend. Now we are going to create the front end. Let me close this previous one. In this, we are going to create the front end part, ng new, the project name, Spring Angular front end. Right? So we are just creating the new project here. It is taking some time to create the project. So once the project is created, let us create one new component. Create a new component. Create a new component. Let me go with the name employee. So where to create? in Spring Angular Frontend. At this place, we have to create the new component, ng generate component employee. The important files are employee.ts, employee.html, employee.ts and employee.html. So this is not required now. So now the project is created successfully. Now cd Spring Angular Frontend. Now let us create a new component. You can check it here first. Ngser. You can reload this page. So we are getting the result here. So means our project has been created successfully. Now terminate this compilation. Open this project in Visual Studio Code, code. Now let us create one new component, ng generate component employee. Right, the component is ready here. So employee component is ready. These are the files. Right now, once we have done this employee component, now we'll come back and write the code again. Now let us create one service class first. Initially I'm going to create one service. So we'll come back and write the code in under this. Now the very important one, create a service class. Or let me say create a class employee. Create a class employee like this. In your project folder, ng generate class employee. ng generate class employee. Again, it's going to create the file employee.ts only. Let me do one thing. Let me create a service class. In that, let us create this employee class. Create a service class, employee service. ng generate service. S means service. Employee service. ng generate service, employee service. Go to this file employee service.ts. Here in this, let us create one class employee. We are creating one class here, what? Employee. And here we go with a constructor. In the constructor, let me provide the properties like public employee ID, it's of type string. Public name, it's of type string. Public designation, it's of type string. Public salary, it's of type integer. So in the constructor, we are providing these properties directly so that no need to assign the values. Now, here we are having this employee service class. This is very, very important. In employee service class, we are creating, going with a constructor. In the constructor, we are going with a property HTTP client. It's an object of HTTP client. So here, this is the HTTP client which it's importing. So what is this? We are going with the property HTTP client. It's an object of which one? HTTP client. Then understand carefully. Let us go with a method. Very important. Let us go with a method. Get employees. What get employees should do? It should invoke this service. It should invoke this service. So how to invoke this service is in get employees, you can say return this dot HTTP client dot get employee array. What you are doing, see this dot HTTP client dot get employee array, and here we need to pass our service. That's it. Once we connect to this service HTTP colon localhost 8080 all employees, this is going to connect to employee table and it's going to return the list of employees. Whatever the list of employees it's returning, we are going to store it into what? Employee array. So this is the service method what you have created under employee service. Clear? How to invoke a REST API from Angular? Right? Please practice. Compulsory you have to practice this. Why we are getting error? Okay. Yeah. So we have done with the class and service class is also ready now. So all these are ready. Now come to this employee.ts file. Come to this employee.ts file. Make this class implements. Make this class implements on init. Now we have to override the method. So override the method ng on init, and in this class, go with a property employees. It's of what type? Employees array. It's of what type? Employees array. Think this employee and this employee, it may get confused. Let me go with the class name as employee1. Employee1, so that we can differentiate easily. Okay. So only to differentiate, already we are having this employee, because in the older versions we used to get employee component name. So then we can create this employee class very easily. Now the component name is same. Whatever the component we have given, no, it is taking the same name. It's not adding the word employee component. So it is taking the word employee only. That's the reason I'm taking the class name as what here? Employee 1. Only to differentiate between your employee component and your class. Now, so here we are going to create an array of what? Employees. In this, let us go with a constructor. In this constructor, we'll go with the property employee service. It's an object of employee service. It's an object of what here? Employee service, right? Because in employee service only, we are having the method get employees. So by using object of employee service only, I can call this method. That's the reason in the constructor, we are creating object of employee service. Now in this ng on init method, now invoke the actual method. Now you can say this dot employee service dot get all employees. So get employees dot subscribe and what are the response it's returning? What is the response it's returning? You can say this dot response, not this dot response, this dot employees equal to response. I'll explain. See. So what you are doing in this? In the constructor, we are creating object of employee service. Using employee service object, we are calling get employees method. Goes to this get employees method. This method is invoking our service, and what are the result it's returning, what are the response it's returning, that I'm storing into this employees array. Now this employees array is ready with the values. Now what I should do? Now do the presentation. So where to do the presentation? In employee.html. So to do the presentation, go with a table. I want to show the data in tabular format. Create a table. Go with the table body. Create a table row. In that, go with the table heading, employee ID, name, designation, and salary. So this is our first row. Then the next one, TR. Now traverse where employees are star ng for equal to let employee of employees. So we are traversing our employees array. So you can see here now TD. How to take the value? Data binding employee dot employee ID employee ID, name, designation. Just we are displaying the data in tabular format, nothing else we are doing here. Then salary. That's it. Once this part is done, our next step is go to this app routing.ts file. Update app routing.ts file. Build the project. Open browser. Type the following URL. Go to this one, final step. App routing.ts file. Sorry, app routes.ts. Now here provide the routes. Here we will say if path is empty, the component what we want to load is employee component. The component what we want to load is employee component, right? And to make our routing work, in this app.html file, we have to say employee details router outlet. So to make routing work, we have to use which element? Router outlet. Build the project in Gizzer. We are getting only employee details, right? Okay. So we are getting error. Where employee 2 is coming. So some errors we are getting. Yeah. So I'll check it. What is the problem? What is the problem here? I'll check it and let you know. So I'll make it work and even I'll explain what is the problem we are facing. Okay. Right. So I'll be creating one repository. So just to practice it and we'll analyze why that problem is coming. Let me remove this. Previously we used it to manage with HTTP client module, but I don't know what is the problem with HTTP client module in this version. Okay, I'll check it and let you know. And let me do one thing. I'm creating a Spring Angular repo. In this, I'm going to push our project. Right? This is the URL for our repository. Right? I'll be adding all the source codes into this repository. Okay, so you can take the source codes from this repository related to backend and frontend, both the things. Okay, right. So next class, I'll elaborate why that problem is coming. I'll check it and I'll let you know. And even I'm going to start off with AWS and Linux in the next class, Monday. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you very much and happy weekend.